Welcome to, I don't even know what edition of Salty Saturday this is going to be, but we are here with a bunch of my favorite people here. We got Based, we got DollaBilz, and we have the Big Ted. And my screen is not switching. Everybody there?
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Ready for what can only be described as 100% pressure on Donde in this Donde v Berserker Team FTL versus Team A.E.O.N matchup.
You're right.
Absolutely.
So, how is everybody doing on this fine Saturday?
Pretty solid.
Yeah, I actually sat in the sun for a little bit. Just sort of felt. Yeah, it was kind of nice.
That orange globe in the sky, yes?
Yeah, still up there, surprisingly.
Not gonna lie, I haven't seen it in a while, so nice to know it's still there.
Yep.
Yeah, we had some. Well, where I live in Nova Scotia, was pretty rainy and pretty blustery, windy. It's warm, but the sun just came out today, and it was interesting. Did not know what to do.
Just getting reacquainted. The sun's like, "Oh, you guys are still there?" And you guys are, "Oh, okay."
So we do have this wonderful, exciting, could be the last game for the Pro Series tonight. We got, as DollaBilz had mentioned, we got Donde from A.E.O.N versus BZRK from FTL. Both those guys, we got bans in already, so BZRK ended up banning the Mage, and Donde banned the Rogue. So what do you guys think their thought process was for the bans itself?
I'm really interested in this Shaman Priest bring at decks 3 and 4 for Donde. Warrior, whether Highlander or Galakron, has been pretty strong for quite a while. Quest Druid as well, pretty popular. I would say both of those are pretty popular third or fourth deck brings. I have not seen much Shaman myself. I don't know, you guys, what do you guys think about the Shaman?
Well, I mean, we can say that Arhap brought it earlier, and it didn't seem to help him too much. So
No.
True.
No, actually, it was banned. It was banned. Never mind.
Was it? Yeah, it was banned. It
yeah.
was the week before Base and I got to witness Liquid Ox's play versus Ron Mexico, I think, for his his version of Shaman.
Little different.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the Shaman's really looking to try and match up with that Mage. That's probably the best matchup for it. It does okay into the Druid, but does not want to see that Warrior.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, heal for 30, 40, 50 points. It's probably just going to make it pretty tough for the Shaman to get there. And of course, Res Priest has just been one of those that I have not taken the time to get good at. But for people who enjoy it, I assume Donde must enjoy it. Obviously, Wicked Good seems to really enjoy his Priest. There are people that seem to be able to speak Priest. They can whisper to their priests and just find wins in myriad situations. What do you guys think about the Quest Druid bring? I know that in the new ladder system, I dusted off my Quest Druid. It took it out on the ladder tentatively at the tender rank of Bronze 10 and proceeded to lose about 7 games in a row.
Ugh.
Honestly, I really like Quest Druid. I just I don't know. I feel like with Token Druid and Embiggen Druid, it feels like so much is up to chance. With just drawing your good cards, not running out of playable stuff with the token, blah blah blah, that kind of stuff. Quest Druid feels like the most skill-based deck to me out of all the druids.
Yeah, definitely agree. It has like a lot of really solid matchups. It's got Rogue that it's favored into and Druid, and then it's pretty solid into the Priest as people kind of figured out that matchup. So I definitely like the bring here this week.
Yeah.
And I'm just doing a quick comparison. It looks like Berserk's Rogue has been banned, but one of the things I'm just curious as to whether or not they were playing card for card the same 30 cards for their Rogue, and it looks like it was. Interestingly, though, Donde doesn't want to play against that, but Berserk doesn't mind playing against Rogue. What do you think about not banning out the Rogue, banning the Mage instead?
I can definitely see that. Mage is. I feel like Rogue and Mage you can have the same argument for, is that there's a lot of those matchups where if they draw their stuff, you feel like you just can't win.
Right.
Yeah, I agree. So like I think that the difference was that the Druid can find the win against the Rogue, where like the Warrior and the Druid are both really going to struggle against the Mage. So you probably figured banning that away is going to be better for you.
Yeah.
And it actually looks like a little bit of disagreement as far as the Mage goes. We're not going to see Donde's Mage, but it looks like Berserk, a couple of technology decisions in his list. He is playing the Boom Pistol Bully, which obviously just shuts down Galakron cards really effectively. And that is instead of an Escape. Nope, they're both playing Escape Mana Saber. I thought I would have the answer to this a little bit faster. I'm not exactly sure what Berserk cut to fit that Boom Pistol Bully in. The Bad Luck Albatross, opting instead for the Boom Pistol Bully instead of Bad Luck Albatross, it looks like. Or I guess you could make the argument the other way. Maybe Donde cut the Boom Pistol Bully to fit in a Bad Luck Albatross.
Yeah, I think that you're probably wishing you had the Albatross with really just Rogue. There's no Warrior to also hit with that Boom Pistol Bully. Priest and Shaman aren't really playing Battle Cry.
Yeah. I can't believe. So it's been really interesting for me to see, because I just assumed that if you're going to play with Galakron in your deck of any class, you're going to try to power it up to level 4 and hit the big Battle Cry every time. Galakron Priest, like the Galakron inclusion in the Priest, has shown that really just a time rip or two. If you level it up to level 2, that's fine. But if you don't, that's also fine. Just the unlimited value generation of that hero power. Oh my gosh, and actually Donde has an Archivist Elysiana in his Priest as well.
Yeah, tons of value. There's also an Archivist Elysiana in the Highlander Warrior for Berserk, so we could see a very long match there.
Awesome! I can't wait.
No.
So
This is a best of 7 using 6 decks.
Who is the beatdown in the Priest versus the Warrior? Because I think Wicked Good was saying that when you're the Priest, you're actually the beatdown against Highlander Warrior. Like you got to get those. Oh, actually, he's not. Wait, Donde's. Oh no, okay. There's basically nothing that costs 1 or 2 in the entire list. Bad Luck Albatross is way at the top. For a second, there I was like, oh my gosh, no Albatross.
I feel like the only thing that's going to be beating is my head against the wall if that matchup happens.
Speaking of Tech and Highlander Warrior, though, there's a Grand Lackey Eric in the Warrior, which is cool. I haven't seen. I don't know if that's made the rounds to standard. I will say I don't play a ton of Highlander Warrior, so I don't know if the Grand Lackey is standard at this point. But I haven't seen too much of it outside of Warlocks myself.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I just haven't seen a lot of Highlander Warrior in general, though. So
yeah, it's so like. I've played a bit of it, and it's really solid in the list. Like it lets you kind of play really flexibly with value, so you can really generate a lot. And if you just like let your lackeys kind of build up, then you can have a really big Erk turn where you can kind of pick and choose from the lackeys in your hand and really both like develop on the board and get value. So it's actually really solid in a lot of matchups.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
there's I think you were just saying that there's no end of value for the two heavy control decks, the priest and the warrior. I guess I just didn't realize that you could potentially need even more lackey value. But it just really just goes to show how powerful lackeys are, right? One mana, especially like 1 mana find dragons, 1 mana find spells. Those kind of effects in particular, I would imagine, would be at a premium in this warrior list.
Yep. Just ask both players to they can get going now. So Berserk is going to be on the bottom, and Donde is going to be on the top there. So just waiting for the players to get into her.
I don't know if anybody out there really just crunches all kinds of. I don't know if anyone's gotten to like modern sports level of statistical analysis, but is there a win rate difference between top player spectated, bottom player spectated? Is that one of those things?
For Donde, being on top is not good for him.
All right,
that's a speculation. So
yeah, that's.
I kind of feel like we should start keeping track of that next season.
we should. Yep.
When I want to say it was last NFL season, when they're like, "This is the first time a playoff game has ever gone into overtime with a tied score of 19-19." It was when I realized like we track too many stats.
Oh yeah.
So we got
All right.
Berserk with his warrior, and we have Donde with the rogue.
Okay, I'm not gonna lie, I'm really cheering for Berserk here, just so we don't see the warrior priest matchup.
I mean, I do have to say, I think this is probably the Warriors' worst matchup. Is this rogue?
Yeah, if you want to talk about a deck that can just get going, and then it looks like it looks like Berserk's rogue is running the whole, double boom pistol bully, all of the invokes for Galacrond, to the possibility of 7 cards drawn for free, possibility of just locking out anything that says battle cry. You can really just turn out even this humble evil quartermaster that we see in Berserk's hand. Donde can shut it down with just a boom pistol bully, crank that up to 8 cost, can't even heal.
God, this is just an insane hand for Donde.
Yeah, you definitely always like to have your evil miscreant when you're on the coin as the rogue,
Yeah.
and then just it doesn't slow down from there.
No. And it's gonna top out with a toggle idol when you have 5 lackeys you can generate into your hand. Oh man.
Oh man, yeah, Donde's spoiled for choice. Coin out an evil miscreant, praise Galacrond.
Just make a dagger.
Yeah.
So a lot of options for turn 2.
Double. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Not again.
We were joking about how out of 100 witchy lackeys, Donde had 101 witchy lackeys. That was a joke, I thought. We were joking.
I mean, that actually happened one week, and it looks like it might be happening again. Oh man. I mean, luckily this is a good board to have them on too.
Yeah, very true. And so if you're Donde, how concerned are you even about this bad luck albatross? There's the Shadow Step can potentially activate your other evil miscreant if you'd like. We were just talking about the potential evolution effects of Witchy Lackey on this board.
So many options.
I kind of like. I was gonna say I kind of like just starting out with one evolve onto the miscreant, seeing how that goes.
I definitely agree.
Hey, the Fell Soul Inquisitor.
I think you might want to try that one again.
Yeah, maybe spin again.
Yeah.
try that one more time.
I also like the praise Galacron. Just give it to the 2/6, or even the 2.
That's fair.
And looks like hey, that's not a Wishy Lackey.
He does have 2 though. He had 2 right now.
Yep.
Yeah.
The count is 2. And I just noticed that Berserk's deck is, for warrior at least, is all gold, so he must
Yeah. Look at Mr. Moneybags over here.
Yep.
Yeah. Swagoy over here.
So if his next class is all gold, then yeah, we got some talking to do.
We know what you did with your wild cards to make this happen. All right, so we do have some strong plays though available for Berserk. The Restless Mummy obviously has been clearing boards since its inception. Evil Quartermaster has the possibility of grabbing you a lackey, getting some armor. The Livewire Lance actually does not get through this 1/6, so
What now?
Well, no, it does with the Albatross,
Yeah.
right?
you're right. It absolutely does with the Albatross. 2 and 4 is actually 6, not 5. I'm so used to adding 2 to 3 to get merely 5. 2 and 4.
Damn. Very good lackey pickup, too.
Yeah, I have some buddies who play Hearthstone. It's like, yeah, I'm pretty sure that every single, when it's the other guy, it's always whatever card to generate a kobold lackey.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. But I don't think Donde has a lot of room to complain here.
No.
Yeah.
No. And so, yeah, once again, faced with a bunch of possibilities. Dragon's Horde to activate an evil miscreant.
So
Backstab
many
to activate an evil
options.
miscreant. You were talking about how just being ready to Heist Baron Togwaggle. If you ever decide to Shadow Step a lackey, you can Heist Baron on turn 6 with a 0-cost lackey.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh,
There it is. So that's what we're at 4
4.
now. Yeah.
4 out of 5.
I gotta put a graphic up here.
Is a ribbon of moonlight.
Forest Guide. Gosh, do you Shadow Step the Witchy Lackey to evolve that again? Nah, I guess you're fine drawing cards as a rogue.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I guess as Berserk, you know that Donde has 2 more Witchy Lackeys in his hand. I guess you could just know that.
What now?
Yeah.
So this turn, with 2 attack represented in the weapon and an additional 6. Oh, actually, no, you can't activate the Restless Mummy because neither of these creatures does enough damage to actually slay the first half of Restless
You're
Mummy.
right.
Yeah.
Pretty funny.
I think you don't mind leaving the forest aid alive.
Yeah.
Forest aid. You probably want to keep drawing, so probably just see what's in the back half of this one.
That is not really a good way for you to deal with it.
No, nothing that you really want to spend on that.
Yeah.
And so,
Kind of like just Quartermaster Faceless here.
Yeah. See what other lock you get.
Yeah.
and Witchy Lackey.
Probably take the evolve on the quartermaster or just take your power.
I kind of like playing out the lackeys there.
Interesting. Gonna opting for the armor up. I guess I assume thinking about maybe trying to save up for that big turn you were talking about, where you Grand Lackey Eric and then do something.
I'm not sure if this is the matchup you want to save all your lackeys for with that. You're worried about the rogue kind of just snowballing the game away from you, especially when you don't have board clears in your hand like this. You just have the Plague of Wrath with no way to act.
Yeah, you can't combo it with Restless Mummy till turn 9. Forever away. What is happening? How is he the Lynx? I mean, dust value very strong on that Witchy Lackey. But that's not what Donde was looking for off that.
Once again, I think you might want to roll again.
Yeah.
Slam the Guardian.
Ancestral Guardian is very aggressively statted, so it allows you to, if you think you're, and the evil quartermaster doesn't fight with it straight up, and the Livewire Lance is gone. Berserk has a couple of options though. He can commit a Restless Mummy. He can basically trade 1-for-1 Restless Mummy if he wants to. He can, if he wants to use like Weapons Project and a Shield Slam, or the Weapons Project to use the Gear Blade, something like that. He's got a couple of removal options. Just how much. And you were talking a little bit about the speed of this matchup. How tight-fingered do you have to be with your removal in this matchup?
I mean, I feel like the mummy's just too good here.
Yeah, like right here, you just want to stay as even on the board as you can. You really don't want to get away, especially coming into these next couple turns where you're really fearing the togwaggle. So I think you'll probably just clean up the board and maybe use the Witching Lackey after a value trade, or consider just ripping the weapons project to clear out the whole.
Yeah, gosh, I'm torn. There's the okay, Witchy Lackey is going to be that, and we get the Yeti.
It's a pretty good evolve.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like that.
Donde has a few options here. He could play the Shield of Galakron and add a random Witchy Lackey to his hand.
That's right. It pretty much says 5 mana 4/5. If you're Donde, add a Witchy Lackey to your hand.
Yeah, I got a Witchy Lackey card right beside his mana,
So many
with the number 4
options.
beside it right now. So
I will act
That's
so
right. Get ready to go ahead and crank that up to 5.
Do you think
Hey.
this with Lackey's gonna get a lot of value though? Trade away the Lackey on the other side and get a 6-drop.
Yeah, the team's pretty strong here.
You're set up for your Togwaggle turn the next turn. Donde's in a really good spot.
This is just too good. Remove.
ooh,
Okay.
there's a big one.
Not bad. Not bad.
No, that definitely this is a major wall on the. I thought the warrior was control. Look at all this taunt in the way. So here's the turbo draw combo in hand for Berserk with the Harrison Jones Weapons Project, and it is available this turn. Though I assume this is too much board for you to do something like that. It seems like it might be time to shield slam something potentially. Or
I
are you
kind of
not
like
worried?
just digging up the draw. That's 3 cards. You develop a weapon. You can clean up the shield and value trade, or you can clear up the Lord of the Arena.
Yeah.
I think you're probably looking to answer the next board because the fear is always this turn 7 is going to be the Togwaggle turn. So I think that's probably what Berserk's expecting, especially with that card being held so long on the far left.
Oh yeah, with that what we can see as Togwaggle, there's a pretty good chance in Berserk's mind that that's Kronks, a Galakron, Togwaggle, something on the top end of the particular list.
Basically, a lot of stuff that you don't want to see.
Right. all the sad time cards for you.
Ooh, there's Eric.
Hey.
Yeah, and the Whirlwind and the Dragon Moth both activate the Plague of Wrath. So now he's got the big board clear if, Donde goes off.
Which, I mean, if you're Donde, how do you say no to this? You don't even have to play out your remaining Draconic Lackey. Wonders. So this is a question I always have. Do you Shadow Step Togwaggle to be able to play him again for 4, or do you save are you waiting for Kronkses and stuff like that instead, perhaps?
I feel like at this point you might be waiting for Kronks. My only reasoning for that is because another wand isn't that great right now, just because you're gonna need to start considering deck considerations at some point.
Yeah, so if you were Shadow Stepping a Waggle, you'd probably be looking for a Xerog's Crown instead, something like that.
Yeah,
Looking for
that
additional
just
threat.
doesn't feel as good. I'd rather get the Kronks.
Right, the ability to draw with Kronks and then also Kronks is, or double, double annihilation or devastation.
Yeah, either way, it's just very strong.
And it looks like we saw Berserk hovering over his shield block, which I would assume would mean a potential shield slam to handle Waggle, but then he put it back. He's also sitting on 10 cards in hand, so he needs to play out at least a single thing that doesn't replace itself.
Yeah, I think the only consideration was the ordering. Make sure you get as much armor as possible, keep your health as low as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right, Violet Warden, Hecklebot, and Sunwalker, the options.
It feels like a pretty easy Sunwalker to me.
Yeah.
So
I think you consider the Hecklebot, maybe try and high value.
Yeah, that's what I was just gonna say. If you could snipe a Kronks with that, that's gonna be insane.
And committing a shield slam means he's gonna have to use some of that, some of those other removal options that y'all were talking about, either the Whirlwind, Plague of Wrath, or potentially even just wait till turn 10 so that he can heckle bot Omega Devastator, or of course generate enough board presence to actually remove the Kronks. Because even, I mean, definitely removing a Kronks would be great. You do still need to be able to negotiate the 6/6. And but Donde currently sitting on a Dragon's Horde, a couple of Faceless Corruptors, and of course Flick Sky Shiv. So clearing some space in his hand because both of these guys have drawn so many cards.
Oh, those are
The
pretty
big-
solid draws.
Yeah, that's 13 mana.
Yeah. So what he just Donde just played the Wondrous Wand for, you could argue, -10 mana.
Your scale
Seems pretty solid to me.
Pretty good.
you soon.
Pretty good. Yeah, I think you're probably holding on to this Kronks. You know, you really want that value. Just gonna
I
rip.
was gonna play it and then just immediately get it.
Okay, yeah.
I don't know if Berserk was hoping to hit the. I just saw Berserk mouse over Hecklebot. I wonder if that was perhaps in conjunction with some profanity. Also worth noting, Berserk's entire deck is not golden. What's going on here? Where's your golden arc Grand Lackey, Eric? Berserk.
Life
I just love how he has all these golden cards, but he doesn't have. Hold on. Does he run the Dragonmaw, or did he get that off something?
No, he runs the Dragon Maw.
He runs it, yeah. He has all these golden cards, but he can't get the golden cards.
Yeah. And
Oh,
oh
that
my
is
gosh,
a
second
Wow.
dragon.
big pickup, yeah.
Yeah, Dragon Queen.
Take that every day, twice on Salty Saturday.
I mean, he might be thinking the Crowd Roaster as an answer to the Kronks, but yeah.
That's
you
not
just
supposed to
take
happen,
the
is it?
Dragon Queen.
Dragon Queen off of Dragon Queen?
It was off the Azure Explorer.
Ah, okay.
It was off the Asher Explorer, which was off the Dragon Queen.
Right. It's 7 degrees of Kevin Bacon.
It's the indirect way of doing it, but you know.
So he doesn't have the final invoke, so I mean he does with the devoted, but can't play both, so
Yeah.
probably trying to think of what's the most best way to clean up this board. So we might actually see a Flick come down and hit the Dragon Queen just to avoid
my God,
max
that'd be-
damage,
Oh
and
my
that would
God.
be
That'd be so gross.
incredibly unfortunate.
That'd be so disgusting.
Yeah, he actually needs to clear. If he's going to fully invoke Galakrond, he needs to drop about 4 cards in order to just have the hand space necessary.
Yeah.
Berserk will burn the next draw.
No
It's
way.
coming?
No
Oh, it's
way,
coming.
no way,
Won't-
no way,
won't
no
burn it.
way.
Is Donde watching the hand of Berserk? Is Donde watching? Does Donde see that effect, that animation? Are we going to see emotes?
Come on. Oh my God.
That was a good call by Donde. Good. Not to say that you saw that he got it, but it's just amazing. Amazing play.
Just,
I mean, like, I feel like I could say what I would say if I was in Berserk's position right now, but that's not stream appropriate, so.
yeah, the stream's only rated R.
Yeah. Could be rated F for being frank. Yeah, that's right.
For fun times.
They have a bunch of F alliterations, yes.
Can't spell fun without FU. All right, so it looks like Berserk is thinking about perhaps going off with this Grand Lackey
We've got
Eric
a
and
high
just generating,
turnover rate.
seeing what kind of Lackey trouble he can get into here. And he's really generating a lot. Like, he's actually generating so much card economy that is he gonna be able to get a 9-card hand before the turn ends? Yes. Okay. No, he's still at 10. He's gonna have to discard something. Discard his own whirlwind.
Wow.
Well,
I think that's what
Pretty
we would
bad.
call an embarrassment of riches. That is a fully upgraded Galakrond on the side of Donde. He also, though, is in a similar situation where he needs to spend out 2 cards to be down to 6, so that he can draw to 7, play Galakron down to 6 again, draw to 10 again, and then play something.
Yeah, I think he's probably thinking the Cold Blood. Maximize the damage, or maybe the Sinister Strike just for cost. And I'm guessing we'll likely see a Faceless Corruptor come down and clean up the board.
Picks of blood. Crowley and blood.
Interesting.
No.
Rush the enemy! Defend Gilneas!
So this actually allows Darius Crowley to clear up the perk and level up. And
Yeah.
that actually is really strong. 'Cause it actually gets it out of range of Ziliax on its own, which we saw come into the hand for Berserk. Berserk needs to spend both the Town Crier and the Ziliax to take care of this Darius Crowley. Zephyr's the Great coming into hand, though. And so that we sort of have that pressure release valve. If Berserk ever just gets super duper far behind, or if Donde ever overcommits, he gets a reset button. And if Donde plays it too slow, he gets to just make a Tyrion. And also, I've seen a lot of the new Priest Legendary, Salim, just for removing single tall threats. That's turned out to be quite good. All right, it's time to hit another Dragon Queen Alexstrasza off this Azure Explorer. Believe in yourself, Berserk. Okay.
It's like,
The rest of your turn really looks awkward. Playing the Lackey alongside the Ziliax after that. So maybe that's a consideration. That's a pretty good hit.
I want to say that probably was the best remaining hit for
And also that was likely to be picked up off of the Galakron. And that would have been a huge bomb coming down.
Yeah, and actually, speaking of bombs and the remainder of Donde's deck, he's got 11 cards left. So if he rips this level 4 Galakron, he's going to draw 4. He's going to have 7 cards left in his deck. And there's no Archivist Elysianas in these rogue lists. These rogues are intending to win before the decks run out by just playing with a hand that is the entirety of their deck.
You just get the Ethereal Lackey, you discover a Battle Cry minion, and then you get your Elysiana. It's all about generating all of
That's right. Thinking about your deck as a 30-card deck is fundamentally thinking about it wrong. This is a 50-card deck.
Absolutely.
Dark in the
So he's gonna have to play 1 card to not mill his next draw. Oh, there's one of those burbs. Oh, double burb.
Is only that discount there, so kind of balance out with the huge hit on the wand.
That's pretty rough.
Did he get it out?
Yeah, I think he got it all off, but not quite what you want. There's still probably the Kronks and the Shadow Step is the rest of your really big.
I dream of a world.
And the amount of, oh my gosh, and this Ysera just represents so much additional. I mean, really, both of these decks are playing with 50 cards, right? It's just how they go about getting.
Yeah. Another consideration to make is that Donde is down to 6 cards in deck. He's going to start hitting fatigue relatively soon.
And I don't see his other. He's already played out. Has he played out both Shadow Steps or just one so far this game?
I
1.
think just 1.
Yep.
Okay.
That was on
so-
the Kronks, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's got 1 Shadow Step, like you were saying, in terms of just threatening things. This Nozdormu is hilarious. We've actually seen Berserk take long turns, so maybe just the additional pressure of the rope. But I assume Donde is trying to figure out how to deal with this Ysera without a sap in hand right now.
I mean, if you want to deal with it, it's going to have to be some convoluted thing with Kronks.
Nobody move!
Some weird double faceless play might work.
Yeah.
I think it might just
You are too late. His return is nigh.
can do it.
88 con, yeah.
And it looks like Donde is starting to realize that he's
On a clock.
Yep, he's got 6 cards left. His clock is 6 cards long. That Boom Pistol Bully, though, does completely lock out Zephyrus. So if Berserk was hoping to find a high tempo way to deal with, reanimated dragon off of Zephyrus, something like that, that is not available. Although Zephyrus will still, I assume, give you Shadow Word Death, even if it costs you
What
7
now?
mana to get it.
Is it worth
Um,
playing Omega right here, right now?
It feels really bad to take 11, but you get to keep your Sarah. I mean,
Yeah.
the question is, what do you do after that? So I
Mhm.
think that we might see the Warpath come down with the Plague of Wrath just to clear up everything. Maybe the Snip Snap just to leave something on board afterwards. But yeah, this was a really good play by Donde to force Berserk to actually do something and not make it easy to develop alongside with playing the Boom Pistol Bully.
I must choose. What
Because you
now?
get 2 layers now, so you think Donde will end up throwing that other boom pistol to mess up the chi a little bit.
Yeah. You can still go with the Omega, but again, it feels really bad taking 11.
Right. This is-
Leroy's gone, so the only burst left is the last Eviscerate.
Yeah. I don't know. I'd be happy with with this having to make that big choice of using those 2 cards to get rid of the board. So
Yeah, and it's just now, I mean, it seems like Berserk has successfully turned the corner and just run Donde a lot of the way out of gas. Although, of course, you can't sleep on the hero power. Generating lackeys every turn can give you additional. All it's going to take is a Draconic Lackey into a Ysera Unleashed or something like that, and all of a sudden Donde is able to generate perhaps more boards than expected. 14 mana Archivist Elysium.
yeah, no big deal.
Can I put that on layaway?
You stack it? Okay. He's stacking.
Yeah, you stack it. You've seen the only sap already leave, so definitely make it a bigger minion to deal.
And so Donde now faced with draws his own snip, so he can do a similar one. Also, his Crowd Roaster is
Active.
live right now. Oh, thanks to Nozdormu, that's still just sitting there nestled in his hand.
Yeah, I think you're probably gonna want to rip out the Crowd Roaster. Consider just getting the hero power alongside that and putting everything else face.
Yeah. I 100% agree with that part.
Interesting. Going to generate a lackey through Sealing Fate. And still going to Crowd Roaster. And this Titanic Lackey, I assume, is going to go on Boom Pistol. You can put on Boom Pistol Bully to just protect this 7/4 if you want to. Or, oh no, sorry, you're out of mana. Never mind.
Yeah, you automatically.
You can't put that on layaway. Layaway's not allowed.
Yeah.
Interesting decision to seal fate instead of just using the hero power there.
Yeah, 'cause Donde just doesn't have a lot of card. If you're just thinking about card economy, his is
Yeah.
he's running out.
That, and it's not like the 3 damage is really doing much there.
No, yeah.
Like, it's still making the exact same trade. And I feel like, yeah, I think Donde is just going to end up running out of stuff here before he can fully get over the finish line.
Yeah. There's not a lot of answers after the Zephyrus leaves the hand, so there is the chance for Donde to try and get in with the Snip Snap, but I don't know how long that's going to be able to continue damaging in the face, because a brawl is going to get picked up here soon.
We need to update the wiki lackey generator.
Yep, we gotta get it at 5.
Yep, cool. Advance that by 1.
It still isn't as bad as it was a few weeks ago, but it's a premium draw.
Yeah, that might be.
That's a premium hero power.
Hero power, yeah.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Bulldozer's gold.
It's a premium bulldozer.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of like the War Gear.
War Gear,
so you
I was
can
gonna
play it
say.
alongside the Dynamatic, but both are great.
Yeah, that was that might have brought this. So now Berserk's sitting on a comfortable 31 out of 30 life. and passing the turn over to Donde, who has drawing, I would say, on the other side of the impactful spectrum to draw at this stage in the game from Dr. Boom Mad Genius is probably Praise Galakron.
I mean, so the last two cards in the deck are a Pharaoh Cat and a Shadow Step.
Yikes.
Oh, yikes.
The Paracat better give him. I don't even know.
Colossus of the Moon?
Yeah, Colossus of the Moon.
Oh, no, that was a misplay. You need to take the Clever Disguise to get the Mage spell that adds. Wait, or no, just get something that read. No, sorry. You get the Warrior spell. Omega. What is it? Omega
Omega
Discovery?
Assembly.
Oh, Omega
Omega
Assembly.
Remix.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then out of those you get Mecha there. That's your way to get good.
Okay. All right.
Get but I'd say that's pretty much what this game has got to, is you're gonna have to start looking for the extreme edge cases to find a way to stack up 30 damage against Berserk, because Berserk's not even, I mean, this is a pretty threatening board, but there's that, oh my gosh,
Yeah,
before I
with
could even
the
say
brawl
it,
pickup.
yep, you were mentioning that Brawl's gonna get here sometime or another, and
Yeah. I feel like you just play Brawl here.
yeah, it seems like Brawl, and then whatever
Ooh.
survives Omega Devastate.
Though he might do like Omega Devastator Dynamatic.
Okay, then.
That's true. Omega Devastator allows you to clear off two of these things, and then the Dinomatic. Oh, actually opting to leverage the hero power and Scorcher. Okay.
Yeah. You're just gonna leave. Yeah. Oh my God, you got another one. This is getting out of hand.
And there's that Pharaoh. Okay, here we go. Pharaoh Cat into, I don't know, Wrapped Golem. Into if you want to play it this turn, or Colossus of the. Oh, and go ahead and advance that Witchy
There
Lackey.
it
I wonder. I mean, I guess actually just holding on to this Nosdormo means
yeah,
that.
that's about right.
The Pharaoh Cat gave him no
geez.
cards.
Generous mummy.
I mean, I guess it's a random 4-drop with the witching.
Yeah.
And with this, Donde's going to be able to remove the last of Berserk's armor.
I think the
Go
pieces
wide here
down
or go tall?
on top of each other, probably.
I don't think it really matters that much, honestly.
Yeah, I think that you want more attack on the one body. That way, if there's any value trades, you're getting a little bit more for your buck.
All right. So how, I mean, there's Weaponized Pinata, Steel Rager, and Galvanizer are the choices off of the Discover.
I like Pinata because it's fun.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but it might just be Pinata. You can play it.
I think, yeah, it's the best choice.
Yeah. And Galvanizer, you're reducing.
Time for a master plan.
Galvanizer's not terrible.
No, actually,
Bulldozer
giving
and
one mana.
Dynamatic, yep.
Yeah, Devastator
Yeah.
for 3.
I kind of like Galvanizer just because it lets you take the Bulldozer into the range where you can play that and a hero power in the same turn.
Yeah, that's actually could be very relevant.
Yeah, absolutely.
Berserk has definitely demonstrated a desire to hit that hero power button every turn.
Yeah. I feel like I like the Galvanizer just for. You gotta take the over. I mean, it's a burst attack. Which again could definitely be relevant. Honestly, I think you could have made an argument for
I feel like this, you know that the snip snap's there, so you know that you just have to limit all that, and so we are down to fatigue for Donde.
So, Donde has the option to attach a Zilliax to one of these little guys, just to increase the amount of damage he does to the face. I'm wondering if it's send all the attacks face and then Nosdormu end turn super fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think right now he's gonna go with the value plan right here.
From nothing. Power.
Academic
that
gives him a deck.
Pick
That's
100%.
so good.
10 discounted cards that all cost 1. That's already your game plan, and you're guaranteed to draw them immediately.
Oh, that
Yeah.
is a huge pickup.
That
Oh
could
my
honestly
gosh.
put him back into this.
Yeah, what if that puts Dr. Boom Mad Genius into his deck for one?
Darkness reigns.
God, we could be here for a while. if That's the case.
This is just game one
That's right.
so far. Just a side note.
Precision.
Interesting. Not opting. Okay, so just opting to push, pressure Berserk as much as possible. Because, Donde still hasn't managed to get this brawl out of Berserk's hand yet.
Oh,
that's a good one.
definitely.
Though it's
That
gonna
will-
kill everything. So
Yeah, if you trade your 3/5 in first, that will full clear and leave it alive on 1.
I'd almost brawl right now.
This would be a good time for
So
a
this is a
master
little weak to
plan.
brawl.
Yeah,
I
I
feel
don't-
like because hitting the button and just trading, you're only leaving 2 things up.
Yeah, I wonder if Berserk. Trying to
This
think
would
what
be a
so
good
if
time
you
for a
hit the
master
button and
plan.
Omega Devastator, does that remove? Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, Berserk. We've been talking about just how much value Berserk has, and he still has 2 cards left in his deck, and he's Dr. Boom. And he has Archivist Elysiana in his hand. He has a golden Archivist Elysiana. Wow. But not a golden Dragonmon Scorcher. But he's got 13 life left, and you can never count Rogue's ability to just eviscerate you out of.
Well, he's already used both of his first, so.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if any of these cards are Ethereal Lackey generated. I guess they're not. I guess the Sinister Strike. So,
And the espionage as well.
yeah, I'm curious as to when Donde is going to opt to play that academic espionage.
I feel like he has to do it soon.
Yeah, I think we'll see it come down this turn.
Yeah. So interesting, he could have taken the cheap shot there to kill this 12/7.
Yeah, interesting. Okay, so he's gonna go ahead and discover a weapon. Arcanite Reaper is
Arcanite
another
Reaper, that's a lot of damage.
Wait a minute, he doesn't get it.
That's-
5, 6, 7, 8.
That is lethal over 2 turns with a Sinister Strike.
Yes.
What is happening?
Honestly, I think you just equip it and hit face here.
Yeah, you could do that.
Yeah, I do like that better than putting down the academic espionage. I mean,
Yeah.
you're probably afraid of any number of taunts coming down with you having really no answer to.
Old Lackey immediately going face, and Donde is about to start really. Oh, and being able to shadow step his Lackey.
Oh boy.
If he finds one more damage,
I'm almost
that's
out of cards.
that's lethal right there.
Also, just side note, has Berserk gotten the delivered going hero power like
Quite a few times, yeah.
like 3 out of 6 or something? Like
Yeah, if Berserk doesn't clear this 1/1, that's the game.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
And to your point, I don't think he's gotten Blast Shield a single time.
yeah, that
No.
is very unfortunate.
I think you should go with the Murloc Raider right now. Jeez, what an awesome pick.
These all suck.
Yeah, these are quite bad. Another Archivist
Oh,
Elysiana.
wow. Yeah, that's an automatic. Gimme.
I think you go with the Warbear though.
Surely the War Bear.
Yeah.
That he's even thinking about it, though, might indicate that he's thinking about rebuying this if he doesn't like it.
Oh, there's a
E.O.N, right? Yeah.
Probably
Reaver. Reaper.
Cleave? Golem? Cleave, maybe?
The Reaper
Cleave
is has rush.
Oh, Voodoo Doll's good too.
Yeah, that's fair actually.
Is that Infested Goblin? Or...
And if this doesn't trade in, then the game's over. Oh, and Barry hits up.
So he chose Monk Hunter, Amani Warbear, Furious
is it?
Etten,
Still
War
no
Doll,
shield either.
Voodoo Doll.
Still no shield either.
Honestly,
you.
I really want to see Donde just slam down the Sunstorm Moon Pass instantly.
Yeah, just. All right. So
Arcanite Reaper.
Yeah, you go in.
Those are the places.
that's right. Heading to Faceberg. You. And it looks like I assume this is going to be a Bomb Wrangler in conjunction with Titanic Lackey, because all of a sudden you're generating boom bots. Granted, it's only going to be one, but
Yeah.
still.
Yeah, and then on the other side of this, Berserk has lethal. You have your Steel Rager come down, take out the taunt. You give your 12 attack minion Wind Fury, and the game's over.
That's right. That's
Damn.
4 damage off the Deathwing.
Yeah, so Berserk sees it. The game is over.
All right, I'm not as concerned with Berserk seeing it. I'm concerned with Zephyrus seeing it.
The Zephyrus doesn't see it though because you just played Elysiana last turn, so it's off.
Oh, you're right. Oh my God, you're right.
So there's
There's full of
didn't think
duplicates.
about that.
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
Oh
That's
man.
right. It's a whole deck.
and that's your only way to heal or to taunt.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Oh no. Oh,
That's interesting. So Zephyrus, if you pull up Zephyrus now,
It'll just be a 3/2.
Okay then.
Yeah.
So
Just
the game is over.
oh
Like
wow,
Berserk
oh yeah, because it
cannot win and loses next turn no matter what.
Unbelievable. This is
Oh my God.
you can see Berserk's running through. Oh no.
Love that fuse thing.
He's gonna go for the I would assume the clear, because between the Rager and Omega Devastator and Hero Power, he gets to
Yeah.
try to maximize the amount of bodies to absorb the bomb blast. Or just not even gonna clear the bomb.
Oh no, you have to. You just have to don't. Oh my God.
wow. Oh, and there's a blast shield. Oh god, how evil would you be right now?
It's Dr. Boom Mad Genius! Please do it! Please do it! Yes! Wow!
That is
What
amazing.
a game! Donde picking up the win as Dr. Boom Mad Genius playing Rogue.
Yeah, I was gonna say Donde gets the rogue one as a warrior. Interesting.
Wow.
That was pretty intense.
That game was an emotional roller coaster. I thought Donde was dead in like the late to mid to like later stages of that game.
Oh yeah.
Out of gas and beyond. But boy, that rogue it's never, until you kill it, that rogue has a chance. It's so versatile, it's so flexible, it's got so much resource generation that
It's the
you're never safe.
Cirque du Soleil of Hearthstone.
Yeah, it just contorts itself and all into a pretzel to find lethal damage over time.
Garrosh versus Lady Vosh.
Game 2.
Your time ends now.
So we are going to see Donde's Shaman, and it looks like Berserk is going to stick on his... it's going to stick on his Warrior.
Alright. Still not priest versus warrior. Though I say that, but that last match did take 45 minutes.
Right. Donde has mentioned in interviews that he's just, blessed and or cursed with 2-hour matches no matter what he does.
Yeah. I mean, he says whatever he says whatever I do, but yet he brings a Highlander warrior with the lazy on it, so it doesn't seem like he's trying to fight it.
He brought the priest with the Elysiana.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's, yeah.
Or yes, Donde.
Yeah.
Oh, this Earthen Right is way too strong on to play here, right?
I think so. You know, maybe the consideration is holding it for the Spirit of the Frog turn, but they're probably not going to be able to fit that in for a while.
Interesting. I don't know how many cards you're really going to be playing that didn't start in your deck, but actually lackeys, right?
Yeah, but
Yeah,
you,
that's right. It's each
you generate 2 lackeys.
Yeah.
There is 2 haunting visions in the deck, so maybe you chain off with those and you just drop a 0 mana.
Or even like, even if play a haunting vision or 2 in a lackey, even like a 3 mana discount isn't, 5 mana 8/8 isn't that bad.
right.
Yeah, especially in this deck. Definitely make use of it. So a little awkward drawing the Rockbiter. You got the Doomhammer you probably need to combo it with to end this game. So probably just going to see a weapon develop, maybe
same.
an evolve.
Yep, Saku, if we could advance the old witchy lackey counter for Donde, please.
I took the counter off just because.
Because it's a number that's too big for the buffer. It overran the buffer already.
It's meant for rogues specifically.
Not for Donde. It's for all.
Yeah, so we got 7 now total for this game.
Man, freaking Donde making you re-add the counter.
Witchy lackey.
On the wings of evil.
Nightmare Amalgam, Crowd Roaster, and Ysera, the options.
I went all 3.
so-
Is that good? Is that good to take?
Yeah. Yeah, it looks like Berserk gonna go for the lowest to the ground one, because there's if you make it to the point where you can play Crowd Roasters and Yseras, you've probably already turned the corner against this.
Yeah.
Also, likely thinking about magnetizing a Ziliax to it potentially later.
Oh, very true.
It's just so strong.
That isn't.
Oh.
Wow.
Honestly, kind of surprised, even though it was evolved into that. Kind of surprised it didn't give him what you lackey.
Yeah. Seriously, what's going on here? All right, so we're going to see the Nightmare Amalgam come down. Like you were saying, you can magnetize Ziliax. You can also, if you're heading into turn 6, you can double snip onto this little guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to be sad to see Nightmare Amalgam rotate on Tuesday. I've had a good time with him. It with this abomination in the eyes of our Lord.
There you go.
Yeah.
They, them. There you go.
Yep.
Yeah.
And just I've never seen a Golden Nightmare Amalgam, not since it got rotated out of Battlegrounds. So I didn't realize there was so much swirling evil around it. Swirling spirits.
I think you're probably going to have to drop the rock biter in your hand with the spirit of the frog this turn.
Choices.
You kind of bank on drawing the haunting visions so you can reset your spells back to 0, but I mean you're really out of stuff.
Time is short.
Yeah, and if you rip your lava burst off this draw, I mean, I guess it's
The other
good.
option, just develop this Doomhammer.
Oh, and get ready to rock biter next turn potentially.
Yeah, that way, when you rock biter with this frog, you actually get to put 10 damage face with it.
Double time and double pay.
Right, and the Bomb Wrangler is going to come down, and once again, Donde is not ahead on the board, and with there's several none of them are in the hand right now, but this deck has enough hand buff, or not hand buff, but board buffing spells, Storm's Wrath, and then anything Earth and Might, stuff like that. Thunder boards generated by Thunderheads, you kind of hope to be at least at parity on the board as this Shaman, but that's not been the case so far.
Almost seems like Donde just said, heck with it, try and get as much damage I can get in right now. And
Yeah. I think Donde's in I must top deck enough damage to finish this game, but there's just so much armor gain available. And if Ziliax ever comes into the hand, the game is 100%.
Oh, absolutely. And then and this shield block in hand is going to allow Berserk not only to armor up, but also next turn he could potentially shield block into Ziliax and play both if he needs to.
Oh, he can Spirit Lightning Bolt here.
Okay.
Yeah, this will be a good pickup. Hopefully pick up the other rock biter here. You don't want to see. There you go. That's going to come down to 12. And you get to reset your spells next turn.
Yeah. He's starting to see some damage chain here. Berserk can get back up to 19 here, which is nice for him. What did you ever see? You ever play the Scorcher to try to snipe the frog?
Oh, for like your own
I don't
bomb?
think so, especially with the weapons project pickup.
Yeah,
Just to,
no, yeah, definitely. Not with that draw.
That weapons project is devastating. Heal yourself and take away their doom hammer. It's just that is
Upsetting.
those are all things. Yeah, that's all things that Donde. Oh my gosh, another lightning
Oh.
bolt.
We're
So
gonna see
what?
Donde just keep launching base damage here, probably.
He's
Yeah.
dead next turn, though, right? Or
yeah, he's
no?
dead
Yeah.
next turn on board, so he is gonna have to clean up some of this, and I think that pretty much seals the game away.
Yeah.
Which is brew?
Patient code of Murlocs.
Yeah, Murloc might be pretty well. eh,
Yeesh. I mean, I guess Witch's Brew would draw your lava bursts.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think you go Witch's Brew. Just,
Such choice.
I mean, it lets you kind of put more damage face by not having to clear as much of the board.
Delicious.
Oh, that's right. And the first one being 0 mana means you also get to find one of your either lightning bolt or voltaic burst.
Yeah.
Choosing to go all of them,
I feel like
be
you
able to
just
go.
launch another. I feel like you just launch a lightning bolt at base here.
Yes, I agree. I think everything's going face at this point.
All right. So now Donde able to get several draws, but I mean Berserk is still sitting pretty good at 20 life, and Donde's ability to generate damage with that Doom Hammer is slow and over time.
I kind of like developing your Snip Snap on a couple of these just to push more damage face while you clear instead of the Restless Mummy.
Yeah, you get to double snip this turn if you so desire.
Yeah, you don't have the Ziliax in hand, which is probably the what's holding him back from doing it. Is he's thinking, if I draw the Ziliax, it'd really be nice to attach to something. Yeah, I agree. You're just gonna end the game quicker this way. You get to add an additional 4 damage face.
And you have so many mechs on board already that Ziliax is just going to be game winner regardless.
Yeah, and one of these big ones is going to survive. And this, this shaman doesn't have room for anything like a hex. Right? There's no
Haunting Visions, let's go.
Yeah, honestly, try it again.
I think so.
And Haunting Visions for real this time.
Ooh, the Rockbiter is solid here, but
still just dead though, I think.
Still dead.
But hey, look at that mana giant, all the way down to 3 mana already.
Pretty impressive.
Yeah. Gosh, if there's a way to get it, yeah. And it's an elemental, so the synergy with Earth and Might is real.
Yeah. What elementals can skip him? What 3 mana elementals will save him here?
You reduce the Walking Fountain by 5.
Yeah. Hot Spring Elemental, if it hadn't rotated out.
Time is short.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that this is just
Taunt Totem? Nope.
the end.
And Voltaic Burst, not getting the spell damage. So let's see, 11, 12, 13 damage. 13, 14, 15 damage showing.
Oh, just the elemental he was looking for.
Oh, Magma Rager. I'd say that pretty well sums up how this game went for Donde. There we got to see the Control Warrior do Control Warrior stuff. Gain a bunch of life, control a bunch of boards, weather a bunch of lightning storms and lava bursts and hammer womps and everything. Because to that Shaman deck's credit, it did get him down to 12 life over the course of that game. It's just, it's just like you were saying, there's so much armor gain, and all it was going to take, we were really just waiting for a Ziliax draw, right? And like that was going to shut that game down immediately.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
yeah.
I was just gonna say, and 1 hour later, it was 1-1.
Yes.
Best of 3.
Knowledge.
I think that's kind of the way you have to go with that Shaman deck into the Warrior, is at some point you just say everything that can hit face is hitting face, and I hope that they don't get out of. But here is why you brought the Shaman deck, is to really get in under this mage.
And Berserk hitting one of those cards that he very much wanted to see. This is one of those cards that is so important when you're playing against like high speed, high tempo decks. The Doomsayer just allows you to either 2 mana heal 7 or potentially more, or just 2 mana gain a turn, right? Just as long as you don't die the turn you play it, the Doomsayer just gives your deck a little bit of breathing room to find other stuff to do to keep yourself alive. In terms of starts for Donde, we see him, he's got the Surging Tempest on one to go ahead and get this party started. Do you Doomsayer on 2? Do you just go ahead and prevent Donde from buffing this, or generating a bunch of tokens, or, you know, trying to coin out a frog? I don't know how much, how greedy can you be with this Doomsayer?
I think with the Ray of Frost, you can consider trying to be a little bit more greedy. Like Donde does have a way to answer it between the Lightning Bolt and the Sparks, so it's definitely worth considering just hanging on to it so you can Ray of Frost something and block the Doomsayer.
Yeah, the Ray of Frost. I mean, the Mage classic combo sense always, of course. The Frost Nova Doomsayer combo. You can kind of you can build your own with a Ray of Frost and Doomsayer. Thunderhead. There's a conspicuous by his absence last game. The Thunderhead, just a way to generate wide boards. Although Mage is one of those decks that seems like can handle some wide boards. I mean, Control Warrior as well, but it's not like Mage has no tools to try to control wide boards.
Yeah, the real nightmare for Mage is Doomhammer. You know, weapon damage has always been really solid. Aggro Rogue was really solid to the Mage a couple metas ago. And that is an excellent totem roll.
So very solid totem there.
And now it looks like Berserk is thinking about potentially that very Ray of Frost Doomsayer combo you were alluding to earlier, or just trying to. I mean, his life total hasn't been under terrible threat just yet, and the longer he can hold on to this Doomsayer, but still have it go off, you know, the more. If you can Doomsayer someone, and because actually right now he would be 2 for 1ing himself, kind of. He'd be like 1.5 and. He'd be spending half a Ray of Frost and a Doomsayer to clear just the Surging Tempest, and then try to prevent Donde from doing anything.
Yeah, and then, you know, there's nothing you're developing on turn 4 to really take advantage of the Doomsayer. You know, you do slow them down, but you don't put a roadblock afterwards, because so it's probably just going to go down fast.
And Sludge Slurp with the draw for Donde.
Pretty good draw.
Yeah. I think you're probably still just going to Hero Power Pass, because you want that Thunderhead to come down on curve and either get value or get ready to come up with a Doomhammer the next one.
Yeah.
Man,
Though I can definitely see the argument. All right, he's just gonna slam the
He's
Thunder
going
at
to
this
coin
one.
it.
Shall we make a storm?
And so now Berserk's already got Ray of Frost in his hand. The thing is, with Thunderhead on the board and Voltaic Burst, so Voltaic Burst will make 4 1/1s, and then although the 1/1s won't die, so he actually but 4 1/1s is still.
He could.
Yeah, 4/1/1s in the lick.
Yeah, that'll do it. He could have also did some like lightning bolt too. Bottom line is he has a million ways to clear it here.
Right, he's
So it feels a little bad not being able to get your Doomhammer out next turn, but this board is way too good not to protect.
Yeah, I think that once you coined the Thunderhead, you knew that the Doomhammer was going to come down on curve.
Yeah.
Choosing not to fill up the board, I think, is the play.
Good.
You can also fit in the Hero Power.
Yeah.
the Doomhammer. I knew it! Taunt totem the roll. So now Berserk is faced with the same board, but now he doesn't have a Doom Hammer, and actually it's not the same board because it's significantly worse for him. And all he's really got is either Arcane Keysmith or Boom Pistol Bully. Or, you know, I guess if you really want to hero power something, that is technically a play that you're allowed to do in Hearthstone in this situation. But I would assume the Arcane Keysmith is coming down.
Yeah, you're keysmithing and you're really looking for the explosive runes.
The flame ward.
Flame ward, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what that thing is called. Explosive runes is different. But yeah.
Must be a way.
Yeah, you can go to Wild and remember about that card.
There's
Really,
flame
I'd
ward.
rather not.
Exactly, yeah. And there, you know, it's right there. I think you go a little slow. That way it's not as obvious.
Yeah.
Yeah. Try
Should've
to pretend
roped it.
like, oh
Should've
no,
roped.
I have to. It's I had to settle for a counter spell. Oh no.
Yeah, but I think we'll probably see a smart play on this one.
You get Donde knows.
Yeah. Checking for splitting image with his little tokens, and then this is going to important. Yeah. This attack order is important because you don't get the damage off your 2/3 if you don't attack with it, and if you're gonna lose your whole board anyway.
Yeah. Likely not to see any.
If we could advance the Witchy Lackey counter, please.
So we're at 7, 8. Sorry, 8.
Excellent, thank you. All right, so Berserk with a 6 mana turn and a live Dragon Caster means that if he feels like he can do it, and Donde's well aware that there's the possibility of accelerating out a big spell this turn, but this is going to be potentially the Luna's Pocket Galaxy if Berserk thinks that he can basically only play a 4/4 on turn 6 and survive. Otherwise, we might see a Malagos into something.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, like, I think honestly the Dragon Caster is probably the play before he drew the Malagos, not because it was good, but because he didn't have anything better.
Yeah, there was really nothing else to do.
Observe and
With Malagos,
reflect.
though, I mean, I guess Malagos can give you Malagos's Frost Nova, which I believe just costs 1. Malagos's Polymorph or Malagos's Frost Bolt.
Could be
The Arcane Explosion, or
the
not the Arcane Explosion, but the
Flame
Arcane
Strike?
Missiles.
Yeah.
Probably what you want.
Dragon Caster seems better.
Yeah, Berserk was thinking about it.
There you go.
Thinks he's gonna die. Malagos's Explosion costs too much mana. Frost Bolt will allow you to finally get rid of this Thunderhead.
Yeah, I agree. I do think it has to be Frostbolt, but I think that just everything coming face with the burn in hand is probably going to finish it up over the next 2 turns. So
Yeah.
not going to matter too much, but we're probably going to see
He's gonna take the
Frostbolt.
Oh, interesting.
Oh, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 plus. Yeah, that is just lethal.
Yeah, he has enough. He has 5 mana to throw all
Yeah,
of
that
his
is game.
Yeah. Perfect amount of mana and damage. 12, 12 and 6, 18. 20.
Yeah. He would have still had lethal even if Berserk could do the Frostbolt there.
Yeah, that's right. Taking 3 damage off the board was insufficient. Gosh, 1 extra mana. Berserk could have actually cast this Malagos' Explosion. Might have lived to see another day. But at least we also know for sure that if he had decided to ramp, or I guess it's not. Is it ramping when you discount everything in your deck? What's there? If you had gone for the extreme, the extreme mana discount, he also would have died. There was no way out of that for him.
I think it would have had to be he would have had to get a random either Frost Nova or Arcane Missiles.
And that means we're going to see Donde on his Priest. Donde's Priest has 2 chances to find the win against Berserk's remaining Mage and Druid. And it looks like Berserk is going to stay on the Mage.
Also, I think it's finally safe for Saku to take off the Lackey counter.
Yeah, I already took off the Lackey counter first game, so.
Yeah.
All it's going to take is Galakron the Unspeakable, Hero Power into Evil Recruiter, into Witchy Lackey.
Stop it. Because it will happen.
Yep.
Oh, wait, isn't? Oh yeah, I guess yeah. God.
And I know what you're thinking, Nick. That's impossible. The chances of that happening is 0. To which I would say, is it 0 or is it 100? It's 0, but it's gonna happen now that I've said it.
Yeah.
All right. So, these are. It seems like these are just the kind of hands that you get with Priest, right? Your only early cost cards are Albatross, and that's it, right? Like you know, you have your reactive cards, your penances, your forbidden words, stuff like that. But you're not really playing. Since the whole goal of the deck is to resurrect stuff that is good, you really don't play, you know, the weaker, lower curve stuff at all anyway. So even though this, you know, looks like a heavy hand, it's like, oh man, 2 5-cost cards, like a reactive penance and Galacon. That's more often than not the kind of hand you're probably going to get anyway. Yeah, with this Priest.
Yeah, that's a pretty standard hand. And I think Berserk has the perfect hand with both Lunas, so likely to start going sideways for this Priest very soon.
Oh yeah, just the possible. I mean, once, because if there's one deck that's probably going to give you enough time to play a Luna Pocket Galaxy, right? Res Priest will probably give you a chance to play it. Oh, and Power of Creation, already drawn. Arcane Keysmith, just gonna play it out to make sure that Berserk doesn't, clog up his hand. But
I think
Counterspell,
Counterspell's an easy pick here.
especially when you have the coin, that means they're gonna have to play out a Forbidden Words or a Penance in order to not have their real big spells, you know, Grave Rune, Mass Resurrection, Plague of Death, that kind of stuff, from getting counterspell.
Yeah, I would not be surprised to see a coin Pocket Galaxy next turn.
And just, what do you do if you're Donde? Reckless Experimenter generated off the time rip, and it's also been adjusted back to normal. So if he finds some way to generate Mechathune and Coffin Crasher as well, he can build that combo again.
Too bad both the abominations are out of standard, correct?
Oh, you're right, taking Abominations out of standard. Oh well.
Feels bad, man.
The first minion played cost 6 for Donde. And just like you said,
things.
yep. As was foretold, coin out the Pocket Galaxy. Let's go ahead and get crazy with the Stargazer Luna and some 1-mana draws.
Donde could very easily assert dominance here by slamming down Psychopomp and passing.
Just really making his point very sternly.
And then use Psychopomp and Penance on Psychopomp right there.
Yeah, just I'll ruin my own res pool.
Now you see it, now you don't.
Oh man, the V said big brain though, because the counter spell is up.
Right, that's right. The Penance would just get counterspelled.
Because Donde already knew that. That's why. Right?
Yeah, exactly. That's why he's making that play.
Got those 200 IQ plays. All right, so this we sort of have the.
There's a 1 mana. It's good.
Yeah, that'll go. If Berserk would like to go ahead and start drawing, but it looks like he's going to develop the Mana Saber and potentially just Ray of Frost to deal with this Zilliax.
Luna and Ray?
Must be a way.
Probably want some more mana to go off with the Luna.
Okay.
Guarantee that you're going to at least be able to play a couple minions with it. Probably considering either Reno or the Mana Saber.
And
There must be a way.
I'm trying to think of it. I mean, I guess there's also the option of Zilliax Hero Power.
The future is
No. Oh, okay. Interesting. Gonna go ahead and start drawing. Let's see what Berserk's deck would like to provide. He's got to go though. The rope. The rope is gonna make the rest of this turn a little bit more stressful.
Behold The tools of
Blizzard.
creation.
Yikes. Blizzard's not a...
That is bad.
Yeah.
Wow. Just throw that. Kind of like base idea first. Just Reno it and
Yeah.
And Zarek's cloning gallery coming into hand for Donde. And I'm not really sure, you know, Donde's development options. Do you ever just windmill slam this Galacron to just kill Lunas and go ahead and change your hero power from Healy mode to grab units mode?
Like, I was thinking about that, but I feel like there's enough big minions in Berserk's deck that you want to save it to remove something of more substance.
Yeah, you know, it can be another board clear. I think you're probably fine going a little bit slower, especially with picking up BZRKs. So you're not too worried about your next turn. It's pretty accounted.
Yeah. And there we go. Alex draws it for 1. But now we're going to see Reno come on down, it looks like, to deal with... Because now that he can... Oh, actually, no, Mana Saber. I would assume Reno, because then you get to Reno and then just hero power to clear everything off the board. But then let's go right into turn 9, right into the Zerk cloning gallery.
Yeah, it could have the heads up of there could be a Zerk coming, so saving the Reno for the Zerk's turn is just monstrous. Really, really efficient way to answer.
So if you're not going to Reno this turn on account of Zerix, is it just a
power
of creation turn? I mean, you can still develop the Mana Saber, and then you could develop the Mana Saber, develop Alexstrasza, and then Conjurer is calling your Alex. No, you don't have enough mana to do that because Mana Saber can't attack this turn.
I kind of like just going a little slow. Just develop the Mana Saber, give yourself a little extra mana next turn, potentially, but the Alexstrasza with Conjurers is another consideration.
This is a cool thing. Splitting up the potential heal targets just prevents Donde from getting the maximum value out of his hero power. It's a little thing, probably is not going to matter, but a fun realization to see Berserk come to, that splitting the damage across the 2 bodies means that Donde doesn't get to just heal his Kartet up to full.
Yeah. I do actually kind of like ripping the Galacron here, cleaning up the Mana Saber. You know, when they get a big board, you're probably going to need your wide clears, and you have the Mass Hysteria in hand, so just cleaning up the Mana Saber really cleanly and getting some value, but it looks like he's just choosing to develop.
Yeah, this is it looks like Donde's going for maximum aggression with the most aggressively statted minions he has in his hand right now. And so now, with the Mana Saber attacking, that's a 10 mana turn to... And actually, so, you know, Donde holding on to Zerk's cloning gallery means the Berserk is actually going to go ahead and commit his Reno Dermatologist before the cloning gallery comes out to deal with this board. And it's going to disable his Zephyrus and his Dragon Queen Alexstrasza until he can draw one of those Albatrossi. That was a fast mirror entity.
Yeah.
So this got to be Zerix, right? It's
yeah.
I think with the snap pick,
yeah,
you're probably afraid.
So do you penance just in case it's counterspell to just clear off the Mana Saber? But then you're going to find out it's not counterspell.
Yeah.
I wonder if like in any way that mirror entity snap pick was meant to be kind of a bluff.
I think so. I think that might have been it. You know, you know that the 9 mana spells are the big ones, so that might be your play is bluff that the 9 mana spells aren't going to be working next turn.
Oh man!
Oh, and Donde, yeah,
that worked out very well. So he
Donde.
can. I was gonna say he could slam down the Psycho Pump, which would do great things against the mirror and see if that Then choose just to play the Galacron finally. And this, I would imagine, is a Sarah onto Donde's face.
Oh yeah, and you have the ability to Alex double Conjurer's Calling if you want to just go ahead and reduce. I mean, 1 mana deal 15 and make an 8/8 is already really good. Oh, actually, Tortolan Pilgrim could also potentially dig up. Is he playing Puzzle Box? Maybe if you're feeling real feisty, you can go ahead and Tortolan Pilgrim out your Puzzle Box of Yogg-Saron. If you really just want to see what happens.
That is quite bold. I would think that he's probably looking for one of the draw cards, but you know, a puzzle box sometimes will work.
There must be a way.
You're in my hands.
There it is,
Book of-
Yogg. Does he pick it?
I mean,
No.
you're probably right. Book of Specters is probably the responsible choice, but I want him to pick Puzzle Box.
Oh,
Wow, hits 3 creatures. Does not find either Albitri
Yeah.
though.
so Zephyros will be online because of that, or offline rather, because of that.
I like this. Maybe go again.
Yeah. Go ahead. Hey,
Oh my god.
attack.
Good face.
Nice. Nailed it.
Yeah, I guess to poke the bear and get 10.
Yeah, that I don't think 8-1 is exactly what he was looking for.
Oh
Yeah.
no, Natalie Celine, when it's generated or like recruited is definitely
Yeah. I was gonna say, not very good without the battle cry.
yeah.
What about?
Gosh, although I mean, you know, Donde must clear this board or else he'll just die next turn because Alex will set him to 15 or 16, and then there's to your point, Saku, there's, you know, an easily angered Gromash as well as an additional 16 damage just staring across the board at him.
What about?
My beautiful creations.
All right, now
My
Donde knows for
beautiful
sure.
creations.
And we're just gonna go ahead and see Mass Hysteria. Does this? It seems like this has the possibility of going bad. Nope, it went amazingly well. Except for this 8/1, of course. Wait,
Yeah, you're still gonna just Alex here.
I wonder is Berserk thinking about if he can hit double Argent Commander, and then Alex just wins the
I
game.
bring life.
Yeah, that or the Reckless Rocketeer. So there's options there, but I really like this.
Yeah, that was a thunderous turn. 15 plus 8 damage. That's what, 200 damage?
Plus 8 witchy lackeys. Oh my.
Probably closer to 23 damage now that I'm
2300
calming down. Now that
damage.
I've got
Come on now.
2300 damage now that I have my TI-83 out here doing functions.
The hardcore calculator for all you.
Yeah, that's right.
He had to go in and make a graph of it, and
Yep. So what's Donde's choices here? Just
What?
hope, pray with mass resi.
I think his choices are to concede or to
Nah.
master it. Well, oh, that's very good.
Yeah. If Donde had missed this Kartet Defender, he was gonna have a bad time.
Malagos, and somehow there's not a dragon in him. That's insane.
Actually, yeah. What? there's just I guess Berserk has just been drawing and playing as dragons.
Yeah.
Blizzard though is going to reduce, at least prevent the Zodiacs, and Berserk is still going to get in.
I think
for,
that was
Valentier.
this lethal.
What was that?
I was just trying to
Yeah,
think.
because if you could have Siamat rushed off the,
yeah.
the front half of that taunt and gotten
You're
that
right.
4 damage from the.
Yeah. He was off by
yeah.
4 and he had 4. You were correct.
Siamat is only cost 1. Yeah.
Yeah.
Still
So-
a hard board to deal with right now.
Yeah. Let's see if Donde can take this extra turn that
Kartut and a Psychopomp.
I feel like, yeah, that has to be it. And then you're also gonna trying to decide if maybe time ripping the 8/8 is better than the Psychopomp.
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, because Psychopomp has some big hits. You know, we've seen the Kartet Defender, the Ziliax potentially coming, you know, having Reborn. But then again, it could hit this Reckless Experimenter, which just does
Yeah.
not help you at all.
Oh no! Oh no!
Part of the
Saku
problem
won't
is
die.
it's gonna just die. Well, not Saga won't, but the R2 will die.
Or, no, yeah, card side. That's what I meant to say. Oh, he'll hit the second one though.
That is the hit that you wanted.
So Malagos looking for
Play
It's
it.
still not live. It's time to
Play
box. Do the. It's wait. No,
Play
there's
it.
probably a way to win the game. But then
Be
again,
quiet. Play it.
So he's got lethal if he will rush Wind Fury, the CMAT, to clean up the leftover with the hero power. I think he sees it.
I mean, he also had lethal with Puzzle Box.
that's right. Because Puzzle Box will Pyroblast Donde in the face 10 times.
Yeah, exactly.
8 and 8, 16. That'll do it. So even though Berserk did miss lethal last turn, Donde could not find a way to punish Berserk for it, and Berserk is going to go ahead and tie this up 2-2. It all comes down to Quest Druid versus Res Priest.
Wow. Okay, so we knew it was
And-
going game 5. We knew that.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly how. I mean, Donde. We talked a little bit at the very top of the show, but you know, given that was a day and a half ago, Donde must win this to keep.
Yes.
His team, to keep Team A.E.O.N in this, and so, you know, how do you feel about this matchup generally? You guys playing Quest Druid versus the Res Priest. You were talking about how people have figured out how to win as the Druid.
Yeah, I think that as people kind of figured it out, it became a little bit more Druid favored. I think a lot of people originally thought it was all Priest, but the recent stats are that Druid has a really solid time taking this down. So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out.
And from what I understand, really, it seems like Berserk is just trying to find Ysera unleashed and play it, especially with Fluke already in hand. Is that still the case? That's probably a week old. I don't know if that's still.
I think that's your best way. Is the earlier you play the Ysera and the wider spread out your dragons are, and the Floop on top of that really swings it. Some of the good news is that if they start shuffling birds into your deck, it helps you spread out your dragons a little bit. So it'll be interesting. It's definitely one of those matchups where the knowledge that you gain by playing this is going to come in stride for you.
And it looks like both of these decks, the first 5 turns have flown by as both of these gentlemen are just staring sternly across the board at each other and passing. And now Berserk's quest is complete, and he's going to be able to nourish on 6 with no worries at all, sitting at a very comfortable 38 health, and start drawing towards that Ysera we were just talking about. Meanwhile, as Donde, you have to start thinking about, now that Berserk's quest is online, you have to start thinking about, Oasis Surger is still, even if you don't have a board, it's still a 10, right? That just hits the board, just a pile of stats. War Druid, Lodi, powering up spells. And then, of course, there's the sort of the macro side, like ramping crystals and drawing cards. But he doesn't really have anything that he can do right now. He's got a pretty reactive hand with Time Rips, Master Spells, Forbidden Words is his. Not a lot of, he doesn't have his potential tempo plays, stuff like the Bad Luck Albatross, Sandhoof Water Bear just for its 5/5 body, stuff like that.
Yeah. Interesting to see that Berserk is considering just burning an Innervate rather than Depower the Wild. I think he's really valuing that buff to help create a board out of nothing, essentially.
He's
he's
drop
gonna
it?
overdraw.
No,
Or
he hasn't
not.
done it yet. Okay.
He was mousing over the rising ones. So that
Could
would
be
make him
considering stealthing out the Lodi, but
yeah.
I think that's just not that high.
Oh, really good draw for Donde there. AKA something playable.
Right. got a card that's highlighted in green.
And is it Psycho Bomb?
and is not Psycho
My
Bomb.
dream
But
is
there is the
one.
Ysera. Come instant windmill slam. I hope Berserk didn't hurt his shoulder. Just big overhand slam for the Ysera unleashed onto the board on turn 9, no less.
I
And
feel
that
like
means,
this is
yeah,
I could just slam Galakron for Donde here.
yeah. You know, it's 7 mana, deal 12, and change your hero power to something that can maybe generate you some plays.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I mean, maybe you rip the time rip instead and hope that your Galakron fully invokes, but I don't think that you can be that optimistic.
Yeah. Well, no, plus if you play the time rip, you're gonna you won't actually be getting rid of a hit card, and your hand will still be full with only 2 mana.
Yeah, that is also true. But probably just see Sarah and Wrath and see what happens.
good gravy. This is 14 Dream Portals now committed into Berserk's deck for the remainder of this game. And
How
now
many?
every single card, 14, I think,
No
Yeah,
witchy
14.
lackeys.
1,400. None of them are witchy lackeys, though. Which I'm not exactly sure how Berserk could potentially generate witchy lackeys in this game.
I mean, if it was Donde playing as a druid, he'd find a way. But
He'd find, yeah, that's right. He'd find a way.
Is Oasis Searcher a good one to slash down here right now, just to get rid of the?
I kind of like just going with Wrath. Maybe consider a Power of the Wild.
Yeah,
that way you want to like really spread out your board.
Yeah.
yeah. Also, I kind of like you've seen Donde's had a lot of awkward moves up to this point. I kind of like not playing too much and forcing him to continue to have these awkward turns.
And 1 of 14 hits the board. It is a
2 of 14.
2 of 14.
3 of 14.
Okay. Did he shuffle all of his portals to the top? Okay. And you were talking a little bit about the potential board buffing power of this Power of the Wild, and good, like holy smokes, that's a 2 mana +6/+6 to a board that's already pretty threatening. And now Donde actually doesn't even have enough mana. Does he even have a Plague of Death? He does, but he can't play it.
Does, yeah.
Mass Dispel might help a little, but
I feel like just slamming down a Mass Hysteria here.
Yeah, I like the Mass Hysteria here.
And since you saw that Berserk shuffled all the portals to the top of his deck, you can actually, if you kill this Bronze Herald, he will mill Dream Portals.
Is this always a good player?
It's not always.
Well, it's always one hit off.
Now Berserk really would like to see his next draw be maybe like the last intermediate. Noobsat Defender's probably
It's
not.
not.
That's
Yeah,
not too bad.
you're fine with that one, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think we're just going to see another modestly sized board develop here.
Trying to decide if he wants to commit that Bronze Dragon or not. If he has another set of runner portals, he's got to balance having his hand size as well as the possibility of him hitting 2, 3, 4, 5 portals. Because I lost count of how many portals he has left. Maybe 11 out of the 26 cards left in his deck. I think maybe 11 of them are portals, something like that.
10, right? We saw 4 dragons develop last turn. A Rising Winds and the Power of the Wild were the other 2 minions, or was it just 3?
it was only 3 that went by.
Yeah, so 11. You're right.
But it's still a pile.
I don't know if I'd throw this down because.
I like throwing it down. You kind of force them they have to answer this, where the last one they might have been able to go a little bit slower, so you might be able to take their whole turn to clear this.
Yeah, if Donde decides that this is threatening enough and decides to commit a Plague of Death, then that opens it up for Berserk, because Berserk's seen 1 time rip now, as well as, of course, Galakron. So that leaves the other Mass Hysteria and both both plagues of death, and that also means that Donde's not ever able to gain the initiative to do his stuff, like the cloning gallery, mass resurrection, Katarina, Muerte, that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
To actually get his
He can't-
game plan.
He can't
He's always
even throw Mass Resurrect right now because he only had what?
It's just the Albatross.
Just the Albatross, yeah.
Ouch.
Yeah,
I mean-
like I said, you don't really want to shuffle a ton of birds, because you're just kind of spreading out the dragons. But the other option is you just hope that you eventually fill the entire deck with birds, and that's all that they have.
And so that is now 4 Albatross. Really didn't take a ton of power off the board for Berserk, with only the bronze dragon dying, and so this is still 13 damage coming across, at least.
It just seems so odd, like being druid right now, and you're glad to get those Albatross in there to break up your dragons. Just a touch.
Would really like to hit 2 or 3 dragons.
Yeah, I don't think you're too upset that you don't have any dragons coming out. I mean, maybe you think that mass hysteria was the last board clear in the hand because that was, a little more awkward than just ripping the Plague of Death was.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Donde is just trying to fill that res pool so he can at least develop something, to counter pressure.
Time waits for no one.
Yeah, just so his mass resurrection can hit anything. And so yeah, this is 13 headed upstairs, and now Donde needs to decide if this is threatening enough to warrant one of his plagues of death. Because obviously we see Lodi swipe in hand for 5 over the top of any taunt that Donde might generate, and of course this is just still a pile. Like what is this? 10, 16, 17, 18. This is exact lethal represented on board. Donde must react in some way, and then even if he doesn't react enough, he'll still die to Lodi swipe.
Yeah, you're just gonna see the grave runes on this.
And there's a dream portal.
So Donde's hoping for the rest of the dream portal to be gone by here.
Yeah, that's right.
There's one.
Yep.
Burned 1. So he's got,
I think he's got 9 remaining.
8 or 9 left, yeah.
Yeah. So probably see Starfall used up here to kind of clean up this board and preserve as much of your own as you can, potentially.
Yeah, this is tough because I would assume that Berserk is hesitating because he is thinking about Zarek's turns, Rez turns, Katarina turns. But
yeah,
I mean, it seems like there's you have to. So Berserk is trying to do the math. Like, am I more likely to win if I spend my resources now to try to kill him now? But I mean, look at this. This is that grave rune coming down is going to represent so much healing.
Time waits
And just
for no one.
board speed bumps.
Yeah.
We're gonna...
could just be choosing to trade off minions here.
Swipe to the face. That same 13 is coming across the board again. This time aided by.
Just remind me of Homer Simpson's. Bed goes up, bed goes down, bed goes up.
Yeah, I mean, the amount of health that Donde has generated over the course of this game is somewhere in the 50 to 60 range. Including the 30 that he started with. So, all right, so that finally pulls the trigger on a Plague of Death, and now Berserk has the go-ahead to potentially wrath his own Albatross and try to find some more dream portals.
Yeah.
There's one.
One.
And somehow... Okay, 2. Oh, just a persistent threat. is Wax Dread.
That Wax Dread's going to be huge coming down the stretch. We probably see it get mass dispelled, and just to keep it from consistently generating.
Behold, jewels of the sound.
Donde and Berserk actually opting to go ahead. Oh, Cenarius, the rip. So even if this gets mass dispelled, like you're saying, because the 7/5 is the 7/5 that keeps coming back to life. Something you got to pay attention to as Donde. Wait, is he dead? 7, 12, 13, 14. With the Cenarius, he will be dead. But at least on the board, he survives with 2 life. I would assume maybe this is convincing Infiltrator mass dispel time, or
Could be that. Could be a time rip. You could consider mass resing and clearing up the Crystal Merchant with your Forbidden.
True. Yeah, actually, mass res should hit Kartut defenders, right? There's like 6 Kartut defenders or something in the pool.
Something like that. I think 6 or maybe even 8.
Yikes. Found both birds.
Yeah.
And he didn't? That's interesting.
Oh. That's a really good draw.
Oh, yeah.
I guess.
So,
you just shy of being able to both Cenarius and Starfall with the Floop's Glorious Gloop.
oh yeah.
Yeah, we're 1 man off.
I think you're probably happy to just rip the Cenarius still.
Yeah.
Trying to think, is there something? Is there a reason to Lodi Gloop? You can rush the Lodi in. I can't see something that's more compelling than just throwing this in. I guess Lodi would allow you to rush in, kill the Kartut defender.
Yeah, you could consider just playing Lodi and the Crystal Merchant and putting 12 face.
But yeah, and this once again is just representing so much damage. Even with both birds trading into the 4/4s, that still leaves 16, another 7. Yeah, plenty of damage.
Carried
on the
3.
Does have the mass dispel?
Yeah, if you mass dispel with your Psycho Pump and you hit a taunt, you're not upset. You can clean up the 5 attack dragons while you do that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that has to be the play here.
Yeah, you are dead to a whiff on the Psycho Pump, though, is the only issue.
But I think that's a risk you need to take.
I mean, you could consider time ripping away the 7 attack. That way you're only taking 9 on the other side. There's only 1 swipe in the deck, so with the Floop coming down already, the only thing you're really dead to is there's no worthy expedition to generate something, so there's no reach left in the deck.
This must be. So are we going to see the master?
He's gonna
missing infiltrator.
I don't mind that either.
Definitely awkward to get through with a board-centric strategy. And
So
yeah. All right, Albatross.
Get in there and fight, maggot.
Yep. Need you to catch this 2/6 death bolt, please.
If this one swings in, you might, depending on where that infiltrator hits, you have lethal.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Actually, if that death bolt hits the 1/1,
it just needs to not hit the 9. No, actually, it doesn't matter where it hits, right? Like, that's game.
Yep, this is game right now.
That is it, and that is the final score, bro.
Oh my god, that is horrible. So bad. So bad for Donde.
man.
Congrats
fighting it all
to
the way to game 5.
wow. Congrats to FTL tonight. Hardcore battle, that's for sure.
Yeah, and what a marathon for these two players, right? I mean, Berserk and Donde just went. Let's see, we started at about what 8 o'clock Eastern. It's almost
Yeah.
it's about a quarter of 10 now. That was
It's exactly what Donde said. He's cursed to 2-hour matches.
that's right. 2-hour matches and witchy lackeys. What was the final count on witchy lackeys, Saku?
It was actually only 8.
Only 8.
Well, I mean, that is pretty incredible considering he only played 2 decks that could actually generate them, and
Right.
still a pretty high percentage.
Yeah, I wish I'd been writing down just how many lackeys, because I feel like that was 8 out of maybe 10 or 16 or something like that.
Yeah, definitely like at least 50%.
Gosh, so I'm just looking back over the matchup. So it was Warrior versus Rogue. Donde took the early lead with the Rogue win, but then Warrior beats the Shaman, and then Shaman beat the Mage, and then Mage beat the Priest. But then, so it was just going back and forth the whole time. Berserk able to win 2 in a row with the Mage and the Druid at the very end there. That's what you like to see, right? Like that's as an enjoyer of Hearthstone, that's what the kind of matches I like to watch.
Hey, Berserk. Congratulations, man. If you get your microphone all situated.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Some really tough matches tonight. Anybody get any questions here for Berserk there?
Yeah, tell us a little bit about. So we were talking a little bit at the very top of the show about 3rd and 4th decks, and like the differences between you and Donde is of course your Control Warrior Quest Druid versus his Shaman and Priest. Talk to us a little bit about the Quest Druid and Highlander Warrior brings.
So instead of looking at what he had brought, I instead, with the rest of FTL, decided to look at what I had been bringing and consider what it was vulnerable to. We actually kind of anticipated Hunter, and he didn't bring Hunter. So the Warrior was there for Hunter, and the Quest Druid was there because even though it's unfavored against Hunter, it's pretty good into everything else, and we planned on banning Mage from the beginning. I know that statistically Druid is not that favored into Priest, but I feel pretty good about the matchup. So yeah, I mean he really kind of caught us off guard, especially bringing Shaman like he did.
Yeah, we were actually talking in the break between Mage Priest and Druid Priest that it seems like the Druid matchup has, if you are comfortable in the matchup, that's one of those matchups where you can actually beat the statistics, and you had that the early Ysera Unleashed, which is one of the cornerstones of that sort of the thing that separates the good from the great players, right? Like that's like hit Ysera, play it, floop
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. So Ysera on curve and then Floop right after is definitely what it takes to win. And then from there, you kind of just start applying pressure in waves, and you sort of just hope that they don't have, consecutive AoE turns.
Yeah, over the course of, I mean, even with all of that, you still had to deal about 70 to 80 damage to actually kill him in that last game.
Yeah, for sure. And then like right at the end, I wasn't even convinced that I had lethal, but
You managed as soon as that albatross took the hit for you at the end.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh man, that was pretty exciting. So we normally have a counter for Donde during his matches because he usually has a phenomenal time collecting witchy lackeys, and he got up to 8 witchy lackeys during the rogue, or sorry, 6 witchy lackeys with the rogue match there.
Yeah, there was that one turn where he had like a Halazi on board.
Yeah.
Instead of killing it, I traded into the lackey and evolved because I was like, he's played 6 witchy lackeys. There's no way he has a 7th witchy. And then he plays the 7th witchy lackey, and I'm just like not even sure if I should be like surprised.
he has a knack. The last couple of streams you've had, he's just been collecting them like crazy hockey cards there. So
Yeah, yeah. That was a really close game, actually, the Warrior against Rogue, and I feel pretty good in that matchup. That was another reason that I brought Highlander Warrior. I've just kind of been a control warrior player since I started playing Hearthstone. That was a super close game, and he definitely played pretty well and to his outs. But yeah, that was definitely an interesting one for sure.
Which matchup were there any matchups you were specifically trying to dodge? Yeah, I know you talked a little bit about the Druid matchups. Was there any other matchups that you were hoping to avoid in this set?
Well, in previous weeks, I had tried on probably 2 or 3 occasions to hard read my opponent bringing a certain class, and every time I've tried to do that, it hasn't worked out, and I end up going into the week with like a terrible matchup spread. So a really big thing that the rest of the team was emphasizing when we were thinking about my lineup was basically that I just needed to bring something that wouldn't be too significantly unfavored against really anything. I spent a lot of time today and yesterday playing Rogue. I brought it because it just made the most sense with the other 3 decks, but I didn't feel really confident with it because I don't play it a lot on ladder. And so I was really surprised when he banned my Rogue. I was actually expecting the Warrior ban, so I spent probably 6 to 8 hours of just playing Rogue, and then ended up not having to play it at all.
it's just usually the way, right? Murphy's Law. So
yeah, exactly.
Banning his mage was just an automatic, okay? Versus your lineup. So
yeah, I think that it didn't really matter what his other 3 decks were. Like, they could have been literally anything. I think I probably would have banned mage no matter what. My decks just were so bad into it. Yeah, and honestly, I think that mage is, this might be a hot take, I don't really know, but I think it's the best deck right now. You can just win any matchup if you draw the right cards. So I just didn't want to risk losing if I brought decks that are supposedly favorable and just lose to some kind of turbo scam. I don't know.
Yeah, that's definitely a deck, that Highlander Mage. Once it starts cheating out, 20, 30, 40 mana worth of stuff over the course of a game, it can just spiral out of control.
Yeah, and I tried to do that too. I tried to go off with Stargazer Luna, and I draw a Blizzard off the top, so I can't play any.
Yeah, we noticed that. We was like, okay, we played Luna there. I forget what play we were thinking you were going to go with first.
Well, I was considering playing the Mana Saber to try and set up for something the next turn, but I was like, I don't really want to give him time. I couldn't really, I don't know, I was just worried that if the game went too long, he'd start drawing all of his clears.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously, in retrospect, the Mana Saber was the right
play. Yeah. Base, do you have any questions?
No, I think that was just really fun to watch.
Ted?
Yeah, no. Just congrats to you and BZRK, or you and FTO for winning it.
That puts this in the books, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
that does
cool.
Give me the question of what are you celebrating with? What kind of
what kind of what?
Bubbly. What champagne did you buy for this?
Oh, I've got some chocolate milk in the fridge.
There you go. Sparkly chocolate
Pop
milk.
that bottle.
There you go.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but I'm super stoked. I was really nervous going into the last game, and I'm glad that I was able to pull it out. Glad I drew you Sarah in time.
Yeah, we pretty much said you pretty much had the nuts at the with the draw that you got for Druid. So if I could ever speak in normal language.
No, for sure. I mean, the only thing that could have gone better would have been drawing Innervate on 1, but frankly, it's inconsequential given the rest of my draws.
Yeah.
Thanks everybody. It was a lot of fun, and I'm really looking forward to competing next season.
Yeah, we're looking to be happy to have you back. So have you been approached by any teams during? Probably not right now, but I'm just saying.
Yeah, no, not right now. This was my first season in THL, and I initially joined because I had qualified to Masters Tour Arlington, and I had no prior tournament experience. So
Wow.
when Liquid Ox reached out to me and was like, "Hey, do you want to do this?" It struck me as a really good opportunity to practice all of the essential skills for the Masters Tour, and it pretty quickly evolved into something more than that, just because I think that the people in the community are really great in a lot of different ways. And and so the rest is history.
Yep. We're definitely happy to have you here.
Yeah.
Looking forward to you coming back for next season. So, any final words for your teammates while you're cracking open that big chocolate milk?
Yeah, I guess just thank you to my whole team. Like Itachi and Rebob are really great, and that they've helped me a lot with like building my lineup. Icon is just a really supportive and great communications coach, and I think Snake and Ox have given me a lot of help with the matchups that I'm not comfortable with. So I definitely could have done it without all them.
Nice. All right. Well, congrats to FTL and your whole team. DollaBilz, you got any final words, or Ted or Based? Before we end the night?
It occurs to me that you have successfully. I mean, what better thanks can you hand to Snake and Liquid Ox than taking all the pressure off of them? Right? Like they. Nice work this evening.
Yeah,
Very
definitely.
good.
Thanks, everybody. Have a good night.
Yeah, you too.
Okay, man.
Hey.
So that pretty much concludes how this night's gonna go. Whether the other games are gonna get played, we're not sure. Not even sure who's broadcasting.
I know
might be
Quaz and somebody else tomorrow night. I'm not sure.
Quaz and Based and Sage, if it happens. It may not, just because it's a moot point now, unfortunately. But again, congrats to FTL. Any final notes from the panel here, or no?
Nope. Just this is the end of the season overall. So
Yep.
just thank you guys for another great season of Friday Night Fights / I guess this is Saturday Showdown, or Salty Saturday rather.
See, you got both shows in there.
Yeah.
Just like you predicted, buddy. That's a good job.
Yeah.
Yeah. And really, if it's going to come down to a single matchup, I think Donde and BZRK gave us a great series of 5 games. I mean, you can't, in terms of just a lover of the game, I couldn't ask for a better series to wrap up the Pro Series on.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm going to say goodnight for everybody. Thanks, THL, for doing the seasons, for Hero, for Legacy, for Pro. And now we're going to start getting into Wild, so tune into that.
Yeah.
So
and then I believe we also have April Absurdity coming up too.
That's right. So, all right, everybody. Well, you have a great night, and we will, I guess, see you when the Pro All-Star Series comes up. I'm not sure when that's going to happen, but should be soon. So,
yeah.
Stay tuned, and have a great night, everybody.
See you guys.
Night.
Night.
Thank you.